All right, hi gang. So for those of you that weren't with us for our last winter session, my name's Jill. I'm a registered kinesiologist who specializes in exercise rehab and working with people with pulmonary issues or lung issues to be breathing better and improving your capacity and your fitness. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna work on a bit of strength, a little bit of cardio. That means the functioning of your heart and lungs, and your balance and some of your mobility. So a little bit of everything to help you at home in your day-to-day life. Okay. So everything we do can be modified either to make it a little bit easier or a little bit harder based on how your energy is and what your capacity is on each day. Okay. Just really quick important points, just have a quick look around you. Make sure you have some open space, nothing to trip on or step on. You're either in bare feet or nice sturdy shoes. Socks tend to be slippery. Make sure you're on a sturdy chair, so no rolly chairs. I've seen things. And if you are on carpet or a rug, again, just have a quick check that it's not slippery. And if it is a carpet, it's not too, if it's really thick to the point where it feels like you're a little bit off balance, then you need to be aware that you got to take extra care with your balance today. Sound good? Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, and the last thing, there's 3 ways that you can adjust intensity. Intensity meaning how much oxygen your body needs to accomplish a task. If you move quicker, you're going to need more oxygen. If you are sitting, it needs less oxygen than standing. And the more limbs you move at a time, the more oxygen you need. So if you're moving both arms at a time versus just one, you need more oxygen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how you at home kind of monitor what you're doing so that it's challenging yet doable. And that's going to look different day to day, and that's okay.
You're supposed to come and pick up a plate.
All right, gang. We're going to start seated.
You want to check the name? Okay.
Oh, let's just mute Miss Connie here. Oh, Maureen, I don't have host capabilities. So if you can just mute Miss Connie there, that'd be perfect. All right, gang. We're going to start with our breathing pattern because this is the breath I want you to get into. If you feel short of breath through class today, get into when we have some rest time and just to get our lungs warmed up. So start with your hands on your belly. As best you can, breathing in through your nose. Through your mouth is fine if your nose is limited. Take a nice steady breath in as you move your hands out to the side, and then breathing out through pursed lips to bring your hands back in. So breathe in as you pull those hands apart. Breathe out through pursed lips to bring those hands back in. Go at your own pace. Breathe in, move your hands apart. And breathe out through pursed lips to bring your hands back in. We're going to do 2 more. Breathe in, move your hands apart.
Okay, fine. Okay.
And breathe out, bring those hands back in. Once more, breathe in, hands apart. And breathe out through pursed lips. Perfect. All right, let's just start rolling one shoulder back at a time. We're signaling to our body that we're going to get moving. This gives our body a chance to increase our heart rate to help move oxygen throughout our body. Gives our lungs a chance to start picking up our breathing so we can get more oxygen in. And roll those shoulders forward. And now we're going to just get an elbow involved. There we go. Kind of feels like a boxing move. It's my chance to see which one of you, who all here is feisty, who's going to give me the most amount of trouble. And we're going to go backwards again.
I'll start off slow, Jill.
Oh, thank goodness. And if you can, we're just reaching one arm back at a time. Just go within your range.
That's not going to go forward.
And again, if that doesn't feel good on a shoulder or neck, just keep it short. Shorter lever.
Well,
There we go. All right, and rest your arms there. I always like to throw in some coordination at you to get your brain working as well while we warm up. So to start, take your hands and we're just tapping them onto our thighs. So together at the same time, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Trust me, it's going to get harder from here.
sorry, it's the dog. It's getting in on the action.
There we go. So gang, as you tap your thighs, one foot is going to reach forward to tap your toe in front of you and then bring it back. Again, one foot reaches out in front to touch and back. One foot reaches out and back. And I know you can't quite see my feet today. I apologize. I'm a little bit tight for space here. There we go. Now keep your feet moving, one foot touching forward at a time. And this time, one hand at a time is going to tap.
Oh, God.
Oh boy. I warned you guys.
Pretty rough.
You kind of have to separate your brain.
I feel like a cartoon character right now.
Yeah. So stop your feet for a moment if you need to, and get just your hands going in a steady pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now in the back of your mind, just keep repeating that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now you start your feet. And your feet can go slow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. So good for your brain, guys. I know you don't believe me yet. You're going, yeah, sure. This is just good for her to watch.
Yeah.
My brain's fine.
There you
My
go.
body that doesn't work.
Well, then you can blame your central nervous system.
Okay.
Are you supposed to be? I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just.
It's a good one.
That's okay. We always just do our best. Now let's just clap in front of us and behind. In front, behind. In front, behind. Don't worry, we're going to get our legs doing something too. And this is a little bit of good shoulder mobility. Now, if it hurts to get your hands touching behind you, then you can just touch to your hips or as far back as you can. Okay, now keep up that pattern of your hands. And now we're going to touch a foot out to the side, back in, other foot to the side, back in, side, in, side, in. Now you can't deny you're getting warmer.
Right.
And I'm only doing
You're
half of
right.
what you're
Oh my
doing.
goodness. So feel free to slow it down, gang.
Yeah,
And you
I
can
can't
even
go at
coordinate
that
the
pace.
movements to happen together.
They're too fast. Oh,
Right. Everyone goes at their own pace. Challenging, yet doable. Now, if this is feeling like you're getting the hang of it, I'm going to make it harder. It's out to the side, side, forward, forward,
Yeah, right.
side, side,
Oh my God.
forward,
I feel like
forward.
I'm taking a dance class, but I've never danced before.
Side.
I have to keep resetting here.
That's okay. Just do what you need to do. Doesn't have to look perfect. And the best part about Zoom is, you know, nobody's focusing on you except me. I'm keeping an eye on everyone, but no one else is. Everyone else is just staring at their feet going, why? Why are we doing this?
Oh dear.
And rest. Well done, team. That looked awesome.
I'm tiring where there's slow exercises. You still get tired, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. It's tough.
Oh, you
Actually, I can go a
do, yeah.
little bit further back.
It's amazing how
Now
much
we're all
you feel
dizzy.
it even though you're sitting down. Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, gang, put your feet tight together. Now I want you to squeeze your knees together and then pull them apart without moving your feet. So squeeze your knees together, pull them apart. Squeeze your knees together, pull them apart. Now, as we're getting our hips warmed up, right? By squeezing our knees together and pulling them apart, the muscles around our hips, running down our legs, they have to work. Now, as that's happening, we're gonna get our arms moving, if you can. So remember, moving both arms at the same time is gonna take more oxygen than just one arm at a time. So arms out, in, out, in. If you need to move just one arm at a time, then alternate. Otherwise, out, in, out, in. Again, squeeze those knees tight, pull them apart, squeeze them tight, pull them apart. Another big part of adjusting the difficulty of a movement or exercise, guys, is actually your effort. You don't have to do big, challenging movements to get a good challenge in, to get a workout in. If you're doing things with purpose, a movement with purpose and a lot of effort, you can get a lot of benefit. So even just moving your hands forward like you're pushing against a wall, that's going to activate your muscles more than just forward and back. So try to push and pull back, push and pull back. Can you feel that difference?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Right? You don't have to move a lot of weight in order to get your muscles fired up. Just a couple more, gang. You're doing wonderful. There we go. All right, let's lift up one knee and the opposite arm. Down, switch. Down, switch. So we're lifting one knee and the opposite hand. Now, I'm going to be talking about your core a lot throughout our classes. And the core are just the muscles that are a tube from around your belly and your back. So when I say, okay, make sure your core is tight, I want you tightening up your belly. Think about pulling your belly button in or bracing yourself. And you know you're doing it if you're not moving much side to side in your chair. Can you keep your body pretty stable as you move your arm and leg? Pretend you're balancing a water glass on your head. There we go, gang. Looking good after some time off over the winter there. Woo! All right. And rest. So again, this is a great time to grab a sip of water. If you're feeling short of breath, or if you're keeping track with a oximeter or an oxygen reader and you notice your oxygen has dropped below your normal ranges, this is a great time to just stop for a moment and focus on that breathing pattern we started at the beginning of class. Breathing in through the nose and out through pursed lips to recatch your breath. If you're feeling good, then here's what we're going to do. We're going to start to pick up your heart rate a little bit. So we're going to go for about 30 seconds, and then we're going to have a little bit of a rest where we just either gently move or you fully rest and catch your breath. And the goal is to be working a little bit harder. So you might feel like you need to breathe harder. Your heart rate might go up a little bit. That's okay. Okay, as long as you're not feeling dizzy at all or lightheaded. Okay, those are things to keep track of that you might be pushing too hard. Okay, so once again, we're going to actually step our feet out, in, in, out, out, in. So that's the pattern. Has everyone got the pattern with me? Perfect. Okay, so like I said, the goal is to get our heart rate up. So I want you to think, if you had to work as hard as you could and you're feeling completely out of breath and can barely go on, that's like your 10 out of 10 effort. Let's try to get around a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 on what you can do today. So that means not letting yourself getting short of breath, but it's okay to be breathing harder. Ready? And go. So can you step out, out, in, out, out, in. And if you're feeling really energetic today, feel free to pump your arms along. Remember, the more limbs we move, the more oxygen our body needs. And if you feel like just kind of steadily stepping your feet is giving your lungs a challenge today, great. That's where you're at. Got just a couple more seconds, gang. Remember, challenging but doable is our motto. And rest. So again, if you feel like you need to completely stop, you can put your hands on your knees, bend forward slightly, go into your breathing pattern to catch your breath. If you're feeling pretty good, feel free to just lift up your heels and down. So you're going up on your toes and down, up on your toes and down. Sometimes a little bit of light movement can actually help us gain our breath back quicker. Just depends how breathless you feel. How's everybody doing so far?
Good.
Good.
There we go. We're having fun?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So the next one, gang, we kind of fatigued our legs there. So now we're going to get our arms to jump in on the action. This one, if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can do it standing, and you're just going to be standing in place. Okay, but standing always gives a bit more of a challenge to your balance. So as long as you don't feel wobbly at all while standing, you can do this one standing. And all it's going to be is trying to clench everything tight. Remember, we talked about that core and pumping your arms. So again, if you're doing it standing, I encourage you to bend your knees a little bit, and it's pumping your arms, keeping your body still. Ready and go. So maintain your breathing as we work harder, gang. There we go. I hear lots of breathing. That's awesome, guys.
You have to remind us to breathe.
Yeah.
I need to remind you to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens because we get focused on working hard. Because I have people go, what do you mean you have to remind us to breathe? Well, of course, if you're focused on working hard, it's easy to forget about the breathing. Couple more seconds, gang, you're doing awesome. And rest. Again, get into that steady breathing. Breathing out through pursed lips is super key, especially if you have COPD, because it helps get that, that what we call dead air. It's air that's all used up of its oxygen, and now we need it out of our lungs so we can get more oxygenated air in. So breathe out through pursed lips to help push it out. There we go. So while you're catching your breath, we've got 2 more cardio bursts, gang, and then we'll focus a little bit more on our strength. All I want you to do now is have your feet slightly out in front of you, and we're going to pull 1 foot back at a time. So my legs are slightly straight out in front of me. I'm up nice and tall, and I'm going to pull 1 heel back at a time. Once again, if you want to do this standing, we're just lifting up 1 heel at a time. And you can always hang on to something for balance. Making sure you don't feel unstable or wobbly, Okay, ready? So just start off just to get the pattern, because it's a bit of a different movement. Okay, has everyone got that?
Mhm. Yes.
Perfect. Oh, and if anyone's been told that they have something called a Baker's cyst or like fluid at the back of their knee, that's probably best if you just march, because that can irritate it if it's already inflamed. All right, and we're trying to work hard. So again, feel free to get your arms moving along with those feet. We're pulling one heel back at a time. There we go. We're working muscles not often worked. The backs of our legs, our hamstrings.
Fine till you threw those arms in.
Keep up your breathing, gang. You're doing wonderful. There we go. Almost there. You guys are doing awesome. Look at us go. Those legs getting tired?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Challenging, isn't it? And rest. Again, get into that breathing pattern.
How long was
You
that?
need to just
Jill?
keep your feet moving a little bit. What was that, Clancy?
How long was that?
That was closer to 40 seconds.
It felt longer.
Yes, it did.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but I'm not saying it was.
Okay.
It's just a feeling I had.
Jill was.
I'm
gonna
just
tell
teasing.
me there.
Clancy knows that I have a weakness. That weakness is I'm not really good at counting or keeping track of time. So if ever you feel like something's been going on for too long, feel free to say something.
I just stopped. I think that's.
Can I do yoga instead?
Only if you need to.
Well,
And I only say that because I've known Terry for a while. He's the wisecrack of the group. Okay, gang. So now we're gonna, again, we have that one last cardio burst, and this time either one hand at a time is reaching up to the sky or both. Okay, if reaching up hurts your shoulder, then what you can do is just get your elbows bending instead, and that'll keep your shoulder nice and happy, not irritating it. Ready and go. And again, if this isn't quite challenging enough for you, feel free to get your feet stepping as well. Just do the best that you can, team. Pushing up and down, up and down. Keep up your breathing pattern. Great job, team. And rest. Well done. Awesome job. Grab a sip of water. You are going to need your band next. All right. Now, gang, I have a band with handles. Don't worry if you don't. That's perfectly fine. What I do want you to do, though, if it's a rubber band where you can see the rubber, just have a quick look over it for any tears or cracks in the rubber, because that means it's more likely to break at that point. All right, and while we're, anytime we do a movement where we're holding the band with our hands, if you've got aches and pains in your hands, find it tough to grip, then what you can do, and I'll hold this closer, instead of holding it, you can wrap it around your hand so it kind of pulls against your palm and you don't have to grip it as hard. Does that make sense? Perfect. So with the band first, guys, we're gonna put the band around our feet. Perfect.
Both
And
feet
our-
or one foot?
Both feet.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it is easiest if you've got your toes pointed up towards the ceiling and your heels planted on the ground.
And if we have no band?
Then you can do this movement the same way. And again, it'll be about effort. Have you got any weights with you?
Cans of beans.
Nice. Okay, perfect. So if you've got no sort of weight or band, you can do it the same way, just use lots of effort. And all we're gonna do, gang, is we're gonna pull the band towards us. Think about trying to squeeze our shoulder blades together, like you've got a grapefruit between your shoulder blades, and then slowly bring your hands back towards your feet and pull and slowly bring them back. Now, if you've got a can or a weight, so you can start. And if you've got a can, I'll use my water bottle. You can hold it and just lean over your knee. And you're gonna pull it up and slowly lower it down. Pull it up, slowly lower down. And again, it's really important that we're leaning forward from our hips. If we're just upright, it's gonna be really tough on that shoulder. So let's lean over top, pull up, slowly lower down. And let's aim for 10 per arm. And you can do both arms at the same time if you've got two cans. And with that band, I didn't give you a number, but the goal is, can we get to about 15? And if that feels like too many for you today, that's okay. You just need to listen to your body. Find something that's challenging yet doable for you. And if you only get to 6, great. If you get to 12, great. This is like the class you wish you had back in, what was the hardest? Elementary, middle, high school? Remember when you were wishing for a class that had no wrong answers? This is that class. Which is perfect because Terry is here to bring out your inner kid again too.
I like wrong answers.
You do.
And I
I'm
can make it
almost
whatever
afraid to ask why.
I can make it anything I want that way.
Oh boy. Okay, gang, I did warn you about my counting.
That's
getting
15. That's 15.
For sure close to 15.
Yeah.
Perfect. So rest there. We're going to put your band to the side.
About the other thing.
I know some of you are going, well, I finished a long time ago.
Yes.
And that's okay, because that either means you needed a bit longer, you needed a rest after that and you had it, or it means you were feeling really good and you could get a couple extra in. So 2 options here. We are going to get into some sit to stands. That means standing up from the chair and sitting back down again. Now, if you aren't comfortable standing up and down for whatever reason, then what you're going to do instead is you're actually just going to lean forward and push your feet into the ground. And you don't even have to lift your bum out of the seat. Remember, this is about effort. So trying to just push your feet into the ground, your muscles are clenched tight, and then sit back down and relax. And if you can get your bum out of the seat, even just a little bit and down, perfect. Okay. If you were standing up, It's most challenging on your balance if you keep your hands on your hips or across your chest. And we're gonna stand up nice and slow. And then to this pace down, if you can, it's down, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo. And up
Yeah,
nice and
I feel
slow.
days afterwards.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That means you won't forget me.
Oh, I don't forget you, my friend.
And you know, my ego really likes that. So the goal is 10, gang, but again, you know your body best. Push through those feet. We're thinking of clenching our bum muscles. Those are your glutes. Clenching our core tight. Down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up. And again, the slower you go down, the harder it is for your muscles and your oxygen. So that's another way of making an exercise a little bit harder or easier, depending on what you need. And I know there's lots of things to focus on, like your glutes and your core and your balance, but you also need to breathe.
You know, some time ago, someone told me that I would never forget them. I can't remember who it was, but yeah.
Was it me?
We can never forget you, Joe.
Thank you.
At least I don't think so.
Depends on the day.
Well, if I don't remember it, forget it.
All right, gang, I'm on number 10.
I am too.
Oh, perfect. Awesome job, team. All right. Now, if you're comfortable in a standing position, doing some movements, and you have a wall close to you, you can do some wall push-ups for this next exercise. So what that looks like is standing a little bit away from the wall, putting your hands, just make sure you can all see me, get your hands on the wall, and I'm leaning into it a little bit, and it's just slowly bending my elbows and then pushing off the wall. So this takes a little bit more balance, a little bit more strength, breathing out to push. Now, if you're not comfortable with that, we can easily work those same muscles by grabbing your band, putting it around your back so it comes forward underneath your armpits. And then we're just going to push the band out in front of us. So we're just pushing our hands straight out in front of us and slowly bending them to bring the band back. Okay, push the band in front of us and slowly bring it back. Isn't this fun, gang? So many exercises that we can adapt based on how you are feeling. Now it's helpful if you're holding the band to breathe out as you push the band away from you. That's the most amount of work. And if you're doing pushing yourself off the wall, the push is when you want to breathe out. And again, that goal is kind of between 10 and 15, depending on how you're feeling today. It's okay for you to have to breathe a little bit harder, but don't let yourself get short of breath where it feels like you can't catch your breath. Great job, gang.
Boy, you really feel that in your arms.
Yeah, you do.
Holy smokes, man.
You guys are doing awesome.
That's a new one.
And rest. Now, if you've still got a couple more in you, you can keep going. Don't let it stop you from keep doing more. But our next exercise, guys, and again, breathe when you need to, rest when you need to, have a drink of water when you need to. But we're going to take the band, and I'm actually going to put it underneath my legs. So it's just going to go under my knees. And then I'm just going to cross the band over. And then I'm just going to rest my hands on my thighs. So I've kind of created a bit of a circle around my thighs. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right,
Should
so I
it
just
be
want to make
kinda
sure.
tight? Should
Yes.
be kind of tight? Okay.
Yes, there should be some tightness on the band. You don't want some slack. And you want to keep your feet and knees close together as a starting point, because what we're going to do is I want you to clench your glutes. And again, those are those bum muscles, which are super important for your balance and your walking. So you're going to clench your bum muscles and you're going to push your knees out slightly, hold, and then relax. And the tighter that band is, the harder this is going to be. So clench those glutes, push your knees out, hold, and slowly relax. Clench your glutes, push your knees out, hold. There you go, gang. And again, if you don't have a band, that's okay. Feel free to use your hands. If I put my hands on the outside of my knees and I have a little battle where my knees try to push out and my hands try to resist, and I'm clenching my glutes, that's perfect. You're getting the same effect, okay? Now everyone feel that in kind of their outside of their hips,
Yep.
or even in their glutes. Keep up your breathing pattern. How's everyone feeling?
Okay.
Good.
Work.
I can see some of you are listening to your bodies. That's awesome. Remember, if an exercise doesn't feel quite right to you on certain days, just let me know, and I'm always happy to give you an alternative. You know, sometimes our knees are a bit cranky, or our shoulders, or our backs. I deal with a lot of cranky body parts. I can give you an exercise no matter what's going on. Those glutes should be getting tired, gang. And if you've never had tired bum muscles before, boy, are we gonna have fun the next couple of weeks.
I find, Jill, that sit to stand slow gets me in the glutes.
Mhm.
That, yes, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. One last one, gang. Clench hard, hard, hard. And relax. Whew. Well done, team. You can move that band. That was awesome. Well done. And again, if those glutes aren't quite tired, well, we got to practice squeezing them harder. You know, with some of my groups, actually, we got on the habit of talking about trying to crush a walnut between your bum cheeks. And it's been an ongoing joke for months now that they talk, oh, I needed a new walnut today, or oh, I progressed to an almond. That's the goal.
Open a bottle of beer.
There you go.
Never
Twist
mind,
off.
I knew somebody who could open up a bottle of beer.
That's impressive.
That
Oh
was
my
a party
goodness.
trick.
Boy. Wow.
Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, gang, we're again stepping on the band. This time your feet are flat on the ground, and you actually want to lean forward slightly so that you're putting more weight through your feet. Now we're going to have our both hands on either side of the band. And when your arms are straight down by your side, just make sure there's not tons of slack on the band. Okay. Now again, if you're moving both arms at the same time, it's going to need more oxygen. So you decide if it's one at a time or both. But we're starting with our palms facing our legs. And then we're going to turn our palms forward and bend our elbows to pull that band up, or weights. Slowly lower down. Turn those palms to face you. So again, you can use your weights or your band here. And if you've got none of those things, you're just thinking about effort, right? You can do this with just your arms and hands by squeezing your hands and pretending you're trying to lift 100 pounds. Effort is super important for building strength.
My
Turn your
hands aren't
palms.
heavy enough.
So that's okay. So again, I can do this with nothing in my hands. And again, it's all about grip. So grip your hands tight and slowly bend your elbows and pretend you're holding 2 super heavy weights.
Okay.
And honestly, it takes effort. It takes to pretend that, and you're pulling, your muscles are clenched tight. And you just move slowly and clench those muscles tight.
Okay.
Do your shoulder blades go together, Jill?
Nope.
They don't?
Nope, you want to keep your chest pulled forward so that you're not slouched, but just have a string pulling your chest forward. See, we can do the same thing with a band, with weights, or with nothing. Clenching your fists tight and pull up as you bend your elbows. There we go, team. Awesome job. And we got one more. And rest. And if it's challenging to put a lot of effort into the movements, that's a skill. So don't worry if we haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. Lots and lots of people aren't used to trying to tighten up their muscles as tightly as they can. That'll come with time too.
I really feel that in my inner thigh.
Do ya?
Don't know why.
Pulling the band up?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You must have been clenching everything tight. That's awesome. Well done. Okay, gang. Now take that band and we're going to put one hand across our body and our other hand is holding the band. And I'll actually come closer so you can see what's happening with my arm here. So again, this arm has crossed to hold it tight. And this arm, I've got my chest pulled forward and I'm just going to pull this band straight down and then slowly bring it up. And again, we don't want slack on the band, right? It's tight and then we pull it straight down by straightening the elbow and up, nice and slow. Pull and up. Pull straight down, slowly bring it back up. There you go, team. Boy, that's fun. Breathing out as you pull that band down. Keep up a steady breathing pattern. And 3 more. 2 and 1. Now we're going to switch sides. So now the other arm crosses over to our opposite shoulder. Our other hand grabs the band and we're going to pull it straight down, slowly bring it back up. Pull that band straight down, slowly bring it up.
Well, what can I do without the band, Jill? Because I can't get this hand up to this shoulder.
So that's okay, Clancy.
To use this
So-
arm.
Yeah, so again, you can do this with your weight. If you just lean forward and pull that elbow up, you can press it straight back. And thank you for reminding me, because I forgot to show what to do without a band. I'm sorry about that. Or again, you can use just, pardon?
Sorry. It was me talking to my dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
I'm so
And
sorry.
if you don't, oh, it's no problem at all. Sometimes we just got to correct them in that instant.
Yes.
So if no band or weights, what you can do again is just slowly straighten that arm and pretend you're pulling against resistance. Right? So again, you can just clench that arm and pretend you're pulling a really, really heavy band. And you can still work that muscle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you can.
Why do we then bend forward if we've got the weight?
How far do you bend forward?
Why? We bend forward when we're using the weight.
Yeah, it has to do with the line of resistance. So when we're pulling the band, we're pulling the band straight down. The line of pull or resistance is parallel to what muscle is working. Now, if you've got a weight and you start to go down, because you're not pulling anything, you're just moving a weight, it's not as effective, right? Gravity is just pulling the weight down.
Oh,
So if you lean forward, well, now the muscle gets to work in its line of direction while the weight stays the same. So it's like pulling against a band.
okay. Thanks, Jill.
Yeah, so when you're using a band versus a weight, that's why sometimes I'll get you to change positions, because it all has to do with what's most effective.
Well, thank you.
No problem. And you can feel the difference for yourself. If you try it, if you try to pull a band straight down and then take a weight and do the same thing, your shoulder has to work harder because it's holding the weight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just try it. Okay, team. We've done both arms. Put that to the side. It is time to stretch.
Oh, goody.
Because my goodness, time has gone by really quickly. Yeah, so let's start with our arms because they've worked hard today. I'm just going to get you to fold your hand back over to your shoulder. So bend your elbow. And then you can just gently push your elbow up. Get a bit of a stretch in the back of your arm, maybe in your armpit. To get a deeper stretch, you can pull forward. That's why I often find this one a bit more comfortable for me. And then we're just switching arms. And as we stretch, gang, any sort of cool down, it's important that we get back into our sleeping pattern. So we're doing our best to breathe in through our nose, nice and slow, and out through pursed lips, also nice and slow. And relax that arm. Now we're going to take one arm and we're just pushing it down to the ground. And our other hand, we're reaching up. So one hand's pushing down to the ground, one arm's reaching up, and we're just going to hold and breathe. If you can't get your arm up there due to a shoulder issue, just wrap your arm around and think about trying to pull your rib cage up. Don't tuck your chin, keep your head facing forward. One arm pushes down, the other pushes up. Breathe, nice and slow. And slowly switch sides. One arm pushes down, the other reaches up. Keep up steady breathing. Arms are pushing in opposite directions. And slowly relax there. Awesome job, team. All right, we're going to straighten one leg out in front of us, and we're going to lean forward from the hips. And kind of just reach towards your toes. How are we doing, team?
Good.
Oh, good. So keep up a nice steady breathing as we stretch. And we're slowly switching legs. Reach. Keep up your breathing. Slowly come out of that stretch. We're just going to turn our bodies sideways in our chair. Our outside leg is just going to go back behind us, whatever's comfortable for you. We're just aiming to feel a little bit of a stretch at the front of our hip.
Can we do that standing up?
You certainly can.
Yeah, I like it better.
Yeah, do what's best for you. That's perfect. And keep breathing, gang. And we're just going to turn the other way. Foot goes back behind us. Stretch. And relax there. You can face forward again, guys. All right, so I always finish off with some nice deep breaths. And the goal is to try to breathe in for 3 to 5 seconds and to breathe out for 4 to 6 seconds. Always trying to breathe out for a little bit longer than you can breathe in, again, through pursed lips. If you want to do it with just a hand on your belly, great. If you want to slowly reach your arms up as you breathe in and bring them down as you breathe out, perfect. So again, go at your own pace. Breathe in through your nose, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out through pursed lips, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that breathing exercise is actually strength training for your lungs. So I encourage you to try to practice that at least 10 breaths every day. If 10's too many, do 5 in the morning, 5 at night. If 10 feels really good, try going 10 in the morning, 10 at night. And that's going to help your guys' lung capacity improve too. The more we can practice those deep, thoughtful breaths, okay? Awesome job today, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
It was
you, Jill.
Thank you.